Welcome back to Slayer Talk. Now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello, Igor. Thanks for that introduction here. Now go back to your master, huh? Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Slayer Talk, our Buffy the Vampire Slayer show.
Yeah.
My name is Mark. With me as always
tape, whatever.
is my girlfriend, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Guess what? It's Friday the 13th.
Oh, no.
1997.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, May 13th, 1997.
Yikes.
Spooky. So, Carol.
You're spooky.
What's tell us what we endured on Buffy the Vampire Slayer this week. This episode was called Nightmares.
It was. And there was at least a vampire in the episode.
Yeah.
Although still not the biggest issue in the episode.
I'm going to talk to my anointed one.
Yes, Skeletor showed up again. I know that made you so happy.
It's like, look, anointed one, I can touch a. It's melding into Yoda too a little bit there. An anointed one, huh? But he's like, look, I can touch a cross.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was weird.
Yeah.
Like, he touched it and then his hand was like sizzling. It's like some kind of like masochist thing happening. Like,
Yeah, he's like, you can control pain. I don't know what is up with him.
well, he's trapped down there.
Yeah, I guess he's trapped down there and he's done all his puzzles. So now he's just fucking around with crosses.
Like, I don't
How do you
know.
get a giant wooden cross down there, by the way?
I think he probably had it made.
That looked like the one that they actually crucified Christ on. Which I guess is why they can't touch it, because they're demons, technically.
Right. But he could touch it. It just hurt.
Right.
So, yeah. So he's down there talking to the Anointed One about nothing, really.
No.
And then he makes an appearance.
Fear's an important... He comes in to give us the thesis of the episode,
Right.
basically.
Yeah, basically.
He is the topic sentence of this fucking episode.
Yeah, because he talked about fear.
Yeah, and not the movie with Mark Wahlberg
No.
and Reese Witherspoon.
What a good movie, though.
Yeah, well, it was a good movie. Until they decapitated a dog at the end.
Still a good
Makes
movie.
no sense how they were able to do that.
It doesn't have to make sense.
The movie was so good, and it gets so fucking bonkers. It turns into a cartoon in the last 20 minutes.
Okay, well, if you want to hear Mark's rant about that, go ahead and get that tape out.
Yeah.
Now,
Now let's talk about nightmares.
so in this
What a nightmare
episode,
to film this episode.
people's nightmares were becoming reality, kind of.
Sort of.
But it seems like they weren't really, because it was so easily undone. It wasn't ever really reality. Like, I don't
think so. I think they were trapped in a nightmare the entire time.
like, were they asleep?
No.
Okay, then I don't understand.
The world became a nightmare
Right?
instead of a vampire.
Okay. So, yeah, so this kid,
So yes, huh?
yeah. So,
Okay.
this kid in their class opened his book and a bunch of spiders came pouring out of it.
Yeah.
And that was
Bunch of
like
tarantulae.
right. So that was the creepy beginning thing that happens.
Ooh. And then they did go, ooh, da-na-na-na-na. You know how that song goes.
Yeah.
I like that theme song.
And there was a little boy in the doorway watching who just said, "Sorry about that," to Buffy, who seems to be the only one that could see him, which I really don't understand that either.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, but it's like, how did that just, and then they just, like you said, they just cut. So, like, we don't know how that whole
All of a
scene
sudden,
ended.
Buffy's just going to school the next day, and I'm like, was that a dream too? What's going on?
Right?
And then they have to have some ham-handed dialogue to explain that that's something that happened, that actually happened.
Yeah, they're talking about the spiders on their way to school, and then they catch up with the boy who had the spiders crawling out of his book, and he said he dreams about that all the time.
He loves
spiders, and he like left his brother in charge of his spider collection, and his brother killed them.
Yeah, he left the heat lamp on for a fucking week. What a monster!
So he cooked them.
Yeah.
So he feels really guilty about that.
So he has a reoccurring nightmare about it because of the guilt that he feels for killing the tarantulas.
Right. So it wasn't just tarantulas. He said he had black widows. He had everything. Who would have a black widow as a fucking pet?
Brown recluses.
Right?
They're all venomous spiders.
He did seem pretty calm for a person with spiders on him, though. He was just like, please get them off me.
Help.
Yeah, like if it were me, I would have been screaming and running around like I was on fire.
Seriously. I like that Giles' nightmare is getting lost in a stack of books.
Getting lost in the stacks in the library and then being unable to read.
Yeah, that one I guess is kind of like you said, he's really calm about it. He's like, I can't read this. This doesn't make any sense. They're like, I'd be going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Fun fact, that's how my grandfather found out he had a terminal brain tumor.
Wow.
Because he picked up the newspaper one day and he was like, they really fucked this newspaper up. All these letters are jumbled about it. This makes no sense. And my grandmother looked at it and was like, we're going to the hospital.
You know, I had something kind of similar happen one time when they think it was a one of those, like, what do they call them? Petite mal seizures or something like.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the menu I was looking at, the words started swirling around on the page.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't talk, and I just started to cry. It was really weird.
Are you sure that the mushrooms had nothing to do with that?
Yeah, I've never taken any hallucinogenic drugs ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, things are laced with things, too.
Sure. Who knows? Anyway.
Besides,
maybe it was my nightmare.
You don't know where that your tongue's been every time. You haven't been accounted for it. Somebody could have.
What in the fuck?
Somebody could have put some acid on there.
Sure.
At some point. You'd have no idea.
Don't you think you would, though?
Well, I know if I would or not.
You've done acid? I thought you only did shrooms.
No.
Oh, okay.
I never said that I only did shrooms. I'm not talking about the... By the way, this is all hypothetical FBI agents listening out there.
Right. Anyways.
What's the statute of limitations on using hallucinogens?
20 million years.
Oh, okay.
So you're in trouble.
That's how long I have till I have a flashback, I guess. You know, I thought that... See, I figured I would do acid because someone was like, oh, you know, you can get a flashback. You can, you know, and I was like, huh. So you're telling me I can buy this drug once, have a trip, and then like 10, 20, 30 years later, I can have the trip again. It's like 2 for the price of 1, right?
That's awful.
But you know what? It's been many years.
Has it, Grandpa?
No second trip. Just another lie by Big Acid.
That's the whole reason why I never did acid, because the thought of that scares me so much.
Yeah.
That, and I do have a lot of nightmares.
Yeah, well, speaking of nightmares, that was the title of this episode.
It was.
So I guess let's continue with it.
So, I mean, at some point in the episode, like, it gets kind of ridiculous even. Like, Xander,
Oh, yeah.
all of a sudden is in his underwear.
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen? And then Buffy's, like, going to go take a test. She doesn't know where the classroom is. She's not studied. She hasn't read the material. And
She's never been to the class.
Yeah. She's like, how am I supposed to take this test? And then
Cordelia's nightmare is to have hair like Raggedy Ann.
Right. Yeah, wow. She's fucking shallow. What was Willow's nightmare?
Willow's nightmare was Buffy being downstairs.
What?
Oh, singing. That's right.
Oh,
she gets called
yeah.
down there, and she's on stage as like the world's greatest soprano or whatever, but she doesn't know any of the lyrics, and she can only produce a squeak.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of a dumb one.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're all pretty common nightmares that people would have.
Xander appears naked.
Like I said, in his underpants.
In his underwear, yeah. Oh, did you say that? Sorry.
It's okay.
I had a petite mal seizure for a second.
Apparently.
While you were talking.
So they're trying to figure out what is going on. Buffy has the worst, though.
Yeah.
Where her dad, she's supposed to go spend the weekend with him. Like,
this actor is awesome, too. How calmly he just explains the whole situation.
Yeah, so she's supposed to go spend the weekend with her dad. She's really nervous that he's not going to show up because apparently he's a dick who doesn't always show up.
Right.
And she sees him and he's like, we need to go talk. And he tells her, so,
You're old enough to know the real reason that your mom and I broke up.
Right. It's you.
You never turned out to be the kid that we thought you were. You weren't as smart. You were always getting in trouble.
How could we possibly be happy with a kid like you?
He's like that look on your face of confusion just says it all. Because I'm sure you didn't know because you always only think about yourself.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And then, but it's like he's not being mean. I mean, he's being mean, but like the actor delivers it in such a matter of fact. This is just the facts, emotionless way, almost kind of like you would explain it to a puppy,
right?
You know what I mean? And it's like very condescendingly too, but not over the top condescendingly. It's perfect delivery. And then he caps the whole thing off by saying, I don't really get anything out of these trips. So why don't you say we just stop doing it? I don't get anything out of this.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my God. Perfect. That was chef's kiss.
So yeah, she looked pretty shell shocked, but
oh yeah,
of course she was still able to save the day.
She was crying too.
Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't be?
And then she sees the kid walking around again.
Yeah. So it turns out, some random girl at school gets beat up.
Yeah. Who knows who it is?
And she's beat up by this monster-looking dude.
Yeah.
Wasn't his arm an actual bat?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked like a mutant. He looked like the Toxic Avenger or something like that.
And he said to her as he was beating her,
"Lucky number 19."
Yeah.
And we got flashbacks to the Frighteners, where I thought this was going to be like the 19th victim.
Right.
I thought that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, me too. Especially because then when they're in the hospital to see this girl, they're talking about, this is the MO of this perp, and this is exactly the way the first one presented. So I'm thinking there's
how doctors talk.
There's 18 in between.
Right.
But there wasn't.
No.
There's just the one.
No, just a kid with Stevie Eiserman's number.
So it's the kid that Buffy's been seeing everywhere, though. He's in a coma because he was beaten.
He was beaten up after a Little League game.
Yeah.
Which they keep calling...
Kitty League.
Kitty League, which makes it sound like pedophilia to me. It's really weird.
It is kind of a weird way to say it.
Kitty League. It's Little League. I guess Little League's probably a trademarked word.
You think?
A trademarked phrase, yeah.
Okay.
Because they have the Little League World Series and stuff like that, so they probably couldn't say that. I know Super Bowl is, and now we'll probably get sued by the NFL. But when they have commercials and stuff like that are not NFL sponsored, or different companies like beer companies and stuff have contests, they always have to say the big game and stuff like that. They can't say the phrase Super Bowl, or else the NFL will sue them. Because the NFL is a pack of dicks.
Well, sure. I mean, they're, sports people. Anyway. Okay, so this little boy finally kind of starts talking about, he comes when we hide.
The monster.
Yeah, because they're trying to get the monster to come so that Buffy can, fight it or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're just, in his little dream now. And so,
Buffy also gets to her own nightmare, too. The final stage of her nightmare.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So while they're trying to hide from the monster, then they're in a graveyard, and it's Buffy's nightmare where Skeletor is there in the graveyard. And she's like, how are you on the surface? He's like, because you fear it.
Right.
Which was kind of creepy.
And then he buries her alive. which is another fear of hers, I guess.
I guess. And then
she breaks out of there, like Carrie at the end of Carrie.
And she's a vampire.
Yeah.
Although he never bit her.
No, well, not that we saw.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I mean, like, you think they'd show that shit.
Why is this dude surprisingly fit? By the way, Skeletor. Like when he pushes her down and everything, I think it's like, isn't he in like a leather like biker jacket and jeans or something like that?
I thought it was like a leather duster. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
He's definitely in leather.
But he looks, I don't know, he looks fit and like he's a 50s biker or something like that. It's weird.
Except that he also looks like Skeletor.
Well, in the face, yeah.
It is weird. The whole thing's weird. It was a weird episode.
Then, yeah, she becomes a vampire.
Yeah, so they have to, like, defeat this monster thing.
Defeat the demons inside.
And so...
They need to wake the kid up.
Yeah. So they go back to the room where the kid is. They're trying to wake him up. And then...
Apparently Giles figured out that this kid is somehow, I don't know, like powerful enough mentally to project this nightmare world all around him. Because of the Hellmouth, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Xander said.
Yeah.
It's just the Hellmouth. That's their explanation for everything, like you said.
Yeah, it's an easy get out of jail free card.
But yeah, so when the monster shows up, the kid gets him.
No, Buffy beats the shit out of him first.
And then the kid goes and, like...
She takes away his power Freddy style by saying she's not afraid of him.
Right.
And then she's able to beat him up.
And then the kid goes and, like, pulls his face up like it's a mask. Mm-hmm. Which it kind of is, I guess.
Yeah.
And that, like...
Another Scooby-Doo moment.
Right.
Whoa!
So that, like,
Puppy power!
Yeah. That, like, transports them to the real world.
Because the kid wakes up.
Yeah. And then in walks his coach.
His Little League coach, who's like, hey, what's up, Lucky 19? I'll just drop this incriminating phrase here.
And then they, like, grab him and won't let him leave because, you know.
Yeah, he goes to run. Because they confront him and they say, yeah, he told us, you know, you beat the shit out of him, you asshole. And then he goes to run and Xander grabs him. And so does what's his name, Giles.
Did they even say that, or did they just say he's awake?
They said he's awake, and then the kid was like, no, they did say, how could you do something like that to a kid? Okay. And the kid was like, it wasn't my fault. There are other people on the team.
Yeah, because Buffy said that to him.
You should have beaten the shit out of all of us. All of us should be in comas right now. But yeah. The coach just shrugs and goes, fair, and then he goes to hunt the other kids.
So, yeah, but the coach is going to, face some charges, I'm sure.
Yeah, whatever.
So that's a happy ending.
I guess. We don't really get to see that, but...
And then Buffy's dad shows up, so that's a happy ending, too.
And he's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's not saying that it's her fault.
Right. And she's happy to see him.
So was he really there? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think Skeletor was really there either.
Apparently not.
Because Buffy also wasn't really a vampire.
Yeah, I don't like so much of this. This episode basically boils down to it was all a dream.
Basically.
Which is, somewhat disappointing, but
it's annoying.
It was. There were some parts of it that were interesting. Xander's fear of that clown was interesting. But for some reason, there's also swastikas drawn all over the school.
Yeah, like I said, though, I think he must be Jewish.
And he mentions, so like every Jewish person fears Nazis, I guess.
Well, I mean, but why would anybody who's not Jewish fear Nazis? Why would a like random white dude fear Nazis if he wasn't Jewish?
It's your buddy, right?
What?
Those are your buddies, right? The Nazis.
Why in the fuck would you say that?
You're not afraid of Nazis? I don't know. Got you there, didn't I? Got you on the spot there, Carol.
I think they're awful, but I'm not afraid of them because they were not killing white people. They were killing minorities.
Wow. Okay. But, so, by the way, Jews are white?
Right, but they are a minority.
Sure. But anyway, so is anyone afraid of Nazis anymore? Really, though? Like, I think people just hate Nazis, right? Like,
Well, I mean, people hate them, but I mean, I think they're still to be feared
there's still some skinheads out there.
yeah, and they might, hurt you.
I guess.
They're
I don't know. It's an odd fear.
hateful people.
Well, yeah, of course.
So I think it makes sense to be afraid of hateful people, especially if you would be a target for them, like Xander would be.
All right.
If he was Jewish.
Well, Xander would be a target for anybody. Him and his fucking chocolate bars.
Right. Yeah, that was weird. Like, if you found chocolate on the floor, no matter how much you like it, would you really eat it off the floor?
In a pattern, too. Just
like a
leave it-
trail, yeah.
Yeah. How dumb do you have to be?
Well, and the first one he picked up had been bitten.
Yeah.
I mean,
By a
that's
vampire.
nasty.
Nasty.
It is nasty.
It's covered in ants.
Gross.
But yeah, so it was a weird episode.
Yeah.
It was all right, though.
It was entertaining, but it was definitely weird. And it's annoying when you get to the end of something and it's pretty much like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, none of this is going to have any impact on anything in the future.
Right. But, I mean, at least the kid's coach is going to, get in trouble now.
Yeah, and at least
And the kid came out of the coma.
and at least the Anointed One got a nice lesson about fear.
Right. But Skeletor is still imprisoned, so
Yeah,
yay that.
yay that!
Yes.
You're good at making up cheers.
Do you remember the cheer from the movie?
Yay that!
No, how funky is your chicken? How funky is your chicken? Do you remember that from the
How
movie?
loose is your
Yeah.
goose?
Our goose is totally loose. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, just had to go there.
I only remember that because of you.
It's awesome.
Uh,
And I'm awesome. Thank you.
that movie is all right.
It's awesome.
It's fine.
That's my word of the day.
Okay. Anyway, so that is the episode for the week, Carol. Tell the people
Go ahead.
where their loose goose can go.
Go ahead and check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com and write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com and tell your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.